I got the opportunity to finish out the morning session here today and really drew the straw of talking about some of the finished in pig research that we've done right now. And so if you think about a year ago at this time, we had a situation happen in our industry where we had a number of vitamin manufacturers that are having some conflicts in their ability to produce enough of the vitamins to meet the needs. And so it caused not only our program here at K-State, but also a number of other individuals around the U.S. Swine industry to evaluate their vitamin premix manufacturing or vitamin premix specifications. And so we went back and dug in all the information, all the literature to help confirm what the right levels should be in our vitamin premixes. And as you can see, the old premix that we have here in the middle column, as well the new one that came out in January of 2018, we reduced the amount of vitamin A, vitamin D, a little bit of vitamin K, as well as the niacin in here, just to be able to go back and provide the levels that the data actually suggests are needed for these animals, but also in the constraints of what at that time the industry was considering that they were going to be able to supply. Not only did we go and change our specifications, but we went and fed it to the pigs to make sure we weren't going to have any change in performance there either. And so what we have right here then was a trial that we did up at New Horizon Farms, where we fed two different diets, one with the old vitamin premix, one with the new vitamin premix, as you go change in gain or feed intake or feed efficiency right here. And so for all of the all of the producers here that are Kansas producers or anybody else that's following our specifications, at least from January, what's happened is you have a slightly lower cost premix that you're able to feed to your animals with no change in performance right here. About 3 years ago, Arkin Wu, one of our graduate students, conducted a literature review for the National Pork Board, where he went and reviewed all the information that was available to help us understand how to feed heavy pigs. And one of the outcomes of that literature review was the National Pork Board requesting proposals to actually study or conduct some studies with heavy pig analysis. And so we were fortunate actually to put together a large group of people here and secured the only grant that was actually funded from National Pork Board at that time. Partnered up with the University of Illinois to provide some of the data analysis. PIC, the USDA MARC guys from Clay worked really closely with a Smithfield group that allowed us to bring these pigs into their plant and actually get harvested, as well as Holden Farms for allowing us to conduct that trial in their operation. And so, collectively here at K-State, we kind of called this the Big Pig Project. And I think if you look at the final weights on some of these treatments, you'll understand why we were doing that. Just as a point of reference, the first treatment to the left that had an average mean of 377 pounds final weight, we had 420 pound plus pigs that were actually on trial right here that we were able to put through in 160 days. And so what we did for this trial, and part of what K-State contributed, was looking at stocking density, its influence on animal performance. And so you can see from left to right increasing stocking densities right there as we go in the red bars, with the last two bars showing different marketing strategies that we might be able to employ with a heavyweight target. And so in the blue slashed bars, we showed we actually had 3 different windows that we marketed pigs at, 2 marketing windows with the green slashed bars right there. And as you can expect, and very similar to the data that's conducted with modern marketing strategies, we saw a reduction in final weight as we increased the number of pigs per pen. This is something very typical that we see. However, to maintain a market weight, we had different marketing strategies. So if you evaluate this just looking at average weight marketed per pig, it doesn't look like there is much difference in the last 3 treatments. However, if you look at it in number of pounds produced per pen, we actually had more pigs in the blue blast here. So we actually generate pounds of pork through our barns, through our assets, by going through a marketing strategy with 3 cuts and then a dump of the facilities. Fed these pigs for about 160 days. Again, the change in final weights that we just observed were a reflection of average here. What was really interesting to me, actually, was that as you looked from one phase to the next, it wasn't until we reached about 340 pounds where we started to see average daily gains start to plateau and start to drop off. So if you think about that in relation to what we're doing right now and marketing pigs at roughly 280 pounds, we have a lot of opportunity to advantage of because of the current marketing strategies. And so definitely some upside for us as we go thinking about the future in our swine industry. And as you'd expect, the change in average daily gain was a reflection of reduction in feed intake. We know as we increase the number of pigs per pen, we're going to reduce feed intake, we're going to reduce average daily gain. What was really interesting to me, though, is that we were able to conduct a trial with 370 plus pound final weights and do it with a feed efficiency of just basically 3.0. And it wasn't too many years ago when we were happy to have a 3.0 feed efficiency with a 250 pound pig going through our market. So opportunities right here with what the genetics has done for us. And what I'd like to just point out again too at the back side, an improvement in feed efficiency with the market and strategies. And so that's something we routinely see when we go and pull some tops before we dump, is that we have a bit of a compensatory gain where those pigs free up some space, they're able to put on game more efficiently and get a more efficient product at the end. One of the really interesting parts about this project is we actually also worked with Dr. Travis O'Quinn in our meats department right here at K-State and one of his graduate students, Emily Rice, where they went and collected some of the pork lines from these pigs that were harvested. We blocked those into 4 different categories with less than 246 pounds carcass weight, medium lights, medium heavies, heavy carcass weights, 276 pounds. Okay? It's carcass weight of 276 pounds, not live weight of 276 pounds. And it's hard to understand really from without a scale on these pictures, but the top picture right here, the pork chop on the left would be weight category, the one on the right from the lightweight category. Down on the bottom, the one on the left is again from our heavyweight category with the one on the right being one from another trial that happened to be going on at the same time. And so what was really amazing to consider right here is we had loin-eye areas greater than 17 inches from these pigs coming through. And to kind of put that, that's too big to meet the certified Angus beef specs. And so we're able to do this with a 370 to 400 pound pig as opposed to a 1,400 pound beef carcass going through. Phenomenal opportunity with what we've got in our industry right now, with the opportunity with the pigs and their growth performance. And so the interesting thing about this part of the study is this was a portion that was conducted with a consumer panel. This wasn't a trained panel. We went and took people off the streets, or had them come in from the streets, I guess, and come tell us what they thought about our pork chops, both from a purchase preference position as well as a palatability position. So we've got our 4 different carcass weight blocks right here from lightest to heaviest. And when they evaluated the appearance and their purchase intent, you see that as we increased, or as we obtained pork chops from pigs with the heaviest carcass weights, we actually had an increased an increased intent to purchase. Again, a lot of this is a reflection of a slightly darker pork chop at that point. Definitely more marbling in those heavier weight pork chops right there. But ultimately, the key message is producing something the customer wants to purchase. And then when we went through and used the same consumer panel and did a palatability, saw increased juiciness, saw increased tenderness, and in essence, a trend for increased overall like of the pork chops that they consumed. So again, opportunities there to create a product that's more pleasurable to the consumer when they're going and purchasing it. And this is the slide that really, for me, really ties it home. And they evaluated the pork chops in this, this retail display case. Those that they deemed unsatisfactory were the highest for the lightweight category. Again, that's what we're providing them today, right? The ones that they had the lowest unsatisfactory rating were from the heavyweight project. For everyday quality, better than everyday quality, even premium quality, you see an increase in the quality perceptiveness as we increase market weights of these pigs, as we increase carcass weights of the pigs. And so an opportunity for our industry to capture more gain in a relatively efficient manner and actually generate a product that the consumer over what we're doing right now. And so maybe something for our industry to think about as we're going forward in the future, planning for our years. Yeah, if you've been here for the last couple of years, you know we can't get away with Swine Day without a fiber withdrawal trial right here. And so we've conducted trials, or we, again, Annie, conducted 3 more trials. Only going to show one of them for the sake of time. But in this trial, we fed a corn-soy diet for the last 76 days before marketing, or a diet with 30% DDGs throughout the whole time until marketing, and then remove the DDGs and replace from 42, 27, or 15 days prior to marketing. And you can see as we increase the duration of feeding the DDGs. As we feed them closer to marketing, we see a reduction in average daily gain and also a poorer feed efficiency that occurred. The longer we fed DDGs, poorer feed efficiency. What this resulted then is also a reduction in hot carcass weight. And so the longer you feed the DDGs, the less hot carcass weight we had on these pigs, partly reflective of the loss in average daily gain, mostly reflective also in a reduction in yield. This is one of the reasons we conducted this trial, because if you were here last year, you might remember a model that Dr. Jose Soto did for us where he predicted yield based on DDG withdrawal timings. And this trial, as well as the other two trials, were conducted partly to confirm the results, but also to confirm his model. And as a general rule, that was very much validated with the results that we found here in this, this particular trial, but also in the other trials that are in the swine day. The other thing you can't think about is iodine value. You can't forget about. And so we know that the longer we feed DDGs closer to marketing, we'll have an increase in iodine value. If you're marketing to put that have a premium or a discount based on iodine value, definitely something you need to be considering in your marketing plans.